What if I told you that one of the richest companies in human history was built in a garage with secondhand desks made from doors, and a man whose own family thought he was making the biggest mistake of his life? This is not a fairy tale. This is the real, unfiltered story of how Jeff Bezos actually built Amazon. And trust me, it's nothing like what they teach in business school. Jeff Bezos wasn't born rich. He was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1964. His mother, Jacqueline, was a teenager when she had him. His father, Mike Bezos, was a Cuban immigrant who adopted Jeff and built a life with nothing but hard work and resilience. Every summer, young Jeff would go to his grandfather's ranch in Texas, fixing windmills, castrating cattle, learning that problems are just puzzles waiting to be solved. Fast forward to the early 1990s, Bezos is now a senior vice president at D.E. Shaw, one of Wall Street's most powerful hedge funds. He has money, security, a future. But one day, he sees a number that changes everything. The internet is growing at 2,300% per year. Not 23%, not 230%, 2,300%. And Bezos thinks, something this fast has never existed before. What kind of business makes sense inside that kind of growth? The answer? He had to find out. In the spring of 1994, Bezos walks up to his boss, David Shaw, and says, "I want to leave. I want to build an online bookstore." Shaw doesn't laugh at him. He takes Bezos for a 2-hour walk in Central Park and says, "Jeff, this sounds like a great idea for someone who doesn't already have a great job." Bezos goes home. He can't sleep. His wife says she'll support him either way, but he still can't decide. So he does something unusual. He invents what he calls the regret minimization framework. He asks himself, when I'm 80 years old sitting in a rocking chair, looking back at my life, will I regret not trying this? The answer was instant. I knew at 80 I would not regret having tried this, but I would regret not trying. That one question changed the course of business history. Bezos resigned. He packed his bags, and while his wife drove the car west to Seattle, Bezos typed his business plan on a laptop in the passenger seat. The company had no office, no funding, no guarantee of success, just a man with an idea and the courage to bet on it. Amazon launched in 1994 from a rented garage in Bellevue, Washington. The first name, Cadabra, like abracadabra, but when his lawyer misheard it as cadaver, Bezos quickly rebranded it to Amazon, named after the massive, powerful Amazon River, a name that screamed, "We will be big." Bezos raised early money from family and friends. His parents invested $250,000, nearly their entire savings. His father later said he didn't fully understand the internet. He was betting on his son, not the business. The team was tiny. To save money, Bezos bought doors from Home Depot, attached legs to them, and used them as desks. He called it the door desk philosophy, a daily reminder to be frugal with costs, but never frugal with ideas. On July 16, 1995, Amazon.com went live. The very first book sold, Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Douglas Hofstadter, sold to a computer scientist in California. Within the first 30 days, Amazon had sold books to customers in all 50 US states and 45 countries. Bezos and his team packed the orders themselves on the floor of the garage, on their hands and knees, and Bezos apparently said, "You know what we need? Knee pads." His coworker replied, "No, we need a packing table." Bezos later called that the best advice he ever took. Here's where most people miss the genius of Bezos. He didn't just build a bookstore, he built a flywheel. The logic was simple but devastating to competitors. Lower prices, more customers, more sellers, bigger selection, lower costs, even lower prices. A wheel that once spinning never stops. And to keep it spinning, Bezos was obsessed with one thing above all else, the customer. Not shareholders, not employees, not even profits, the customer. He was famous for leaving one empty chair in every meeting room. When people asked who it was for, he'd say, "That's the most important person in the room, the customer." This obsession led to Amazon Prime in 2005, free 2-day shipping, at a time when everyone said it was impossible to sustain. Analysts called it financial suicide. Bezos called it the future. They were both almost right. Amazon lost money on Prime for years, but it locked in loyalty that no competitor could break. Here's the part that most people don't know. The real money behind Amazon, it isn't the shopping. It isn't Prime. It's Amazon Web Services, AWS. In the early 2000s, Amazon's engineers were struggling to build internal software systems. They kept rebuilding the same basic tools over and over. Bezos had an idea. What if we build these tools once and rent them to the world? In 2006, AWS launched cloud computing to the public, and it changed everything. Today, AWS powers Netflix, NASA, the CIA, Spotify, Airbnb, and thousands more. In 2023, AWS generated over $90 billion in revenue for Amazon. Bezos didn't just build a store, he built the invisible infrastructure of the internet. So what was Bezos' real secret? It wasn't luck, it wasn't timing, it wasn't just technology. It was 3 unshakable beliefs. 1, always day 1. Bezos called Amazon an always day 1 company. He said day 2 is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by painful decline, followed by death. So Amazon always acted like a startup, hungry, fast, and never satisfied. 2, two-way and one-way doors. He said most decisions are like two-way doors. You can reverse them, so make them fast, take risks, experiment. Only slow down on one-way doors, decisions you can't undo. This